All right, y'all. We're going to step into our next lightning talk. Next up, we have Tanya T. Morris, who will be chatting with us about changing course in your career. So, Tanya has been helping transitioning professionals and organizations increase productivity and achieve their goals for the bulk of her professional career. It was with this passion to help professional women, entrepreneurs, and organizational leaders that led Tanya to start Mom Your Business, who is also one of our hosts for today. With over 20 years of experience in the nonprofit management world, Tanya T brings a wealth of knowledge of areas of business development, relationship marketing, and strategic planning. Tanya is using all of her resources and skills to network at Mom Your Business and to support mompreneurs and professionals. Welcome, Tanya.
Elevate your opportunity, changing courses in your career. This is 5-year-old Tanya T. Yes. That was cute, wasn't that? Yes. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a writer. My mom said I was writing short stories when I was 5 and 6 years old. So I've always wanted to be a writer. But I didn't want to do certain types of writing, right? Because I was always watching TV and watching film. So when I went to Temple, I had plans of being a filmmaker. When I was at Temple, I saw She's Gotta Have It, Spike Lee's very first film. And I was like, I'm going to be the female Spike Lee. That's what I want to do. By the time I left Temple, I had my major was film and television. It had been TV broadcasting. It had been editorial newspaper writing. And then finally, public relations and marketing. All of that, by the time I left, when I started there, I wanted to be a filmmaker, right? And what I learned is that college isn't where you career plan, it's where you learn how to plan your career, right? You take all of those things that you learn while you're in college and you define, this is where you find out what transferable skills are, and this is where you find out what it is that you really want to do, maybe even not in that particular position. And the first job that I got right out of college was as an editorial assistant at a newspaper, at the Philadelphia Daily News. The two things that I said I never wanted to do: didn't want to write for newspapers, didn't want to write books. And the first job out of college, and the first person to hire me as a reporter was Jerry Mondesire. He had just started the Philadelphia Sunday Sun newspaper. A friend of mine referred me to him, and he gave me an assignment. He didn't even interview me. I said, Mr. Mondesire. He said, no, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. I said, but Mr. Mondesire, I've never written for, no, you'll be okay. And after that, I just went on to be a reporter for the Daily News, for the Tribune, for the Philadelphia Sunday Sun, because Jerry thought that I was a fairly decent reporter. I've interviewed everyone from Oprah to Will Smith to mayors to governors, you name them, I've interviewed them. And that was because Jerry thought enough of my writing skills to give me an opportunity. So I learned in college that elevating your opportunities means taking something away from every experience that you have, because the newspaper reporting made me a disciplined writer. It helped me to understand that this was a skill that could take me far. And so that helped led me to pursuing my passion. That's when I started in the nonprofit sector. Those are my two guys, Jeremy and Isaiah. And this was during the time when I was at the Campaign for Working Families. And that was where I really discovered my passion for mentorship. One thing I knew when I started Mom Your Business, I didn't know what it was going to be. But the one thing I knew that we would do was mentorship. Because mentoring was not something that I did. It had become a part of who I was. And so this was at one of our events where we celebrated our success of helping families, working families, low-income and moderate-income families, to get their income tax refund through the Earned Income Tax Credit. And that just became a part of the work that we were doing, that I really began to discover my passion. I wasn't writing on a daily basis, but I had found my passion for helping and mentoring people. And so those are just a few of the many nonprofit organizations that I worked for throughout my time in the city of Philadelphia and in the nonprofit sector. And so that just led to me really understanding what my passion was. And during that time was when I began to write books. I've written 3 books, and that happened in between those times from being a reporter and a temp, working temp jobs, writing 3 books as a social worker and a motivational speaker and author. But it was during those times that I wanted to really figure out what my passion was. And one thing I want to encourage you all as you look to elevate your opportunities and changing your course of your career is don't be afraid of the slash. Don't be afraid of the slash, right? And be willing. You have to be willing to reinvent yourself. I have reinvented myself more times than I can count. But you can't be afraid of the slash. Never let anyone question how your commitment to what you do because you have social worker / author, because you have entrepreneur / this. By show of hands, how many of you are working full time and are an entrepreneur, have a business? Right? And why? Because many times you start that business and that passion while you're at work. And while you're at work, you're learning what it is that this business, this thing that may have been a hobby, that may have been a love, that may have been birthed out of a need, whether that was to get a car fixed, to purchase a prom dress, to get a washer or a dryer, because that's how we typically start businesses. It typically is birthed out of a need. The majority of women start a business out of a need. And so whether your reasoning for starting that business is out of being don't be afraid of the slash. Be willing to reinvent yourself. And I want to give you a couple things to do. One, write a personal mission statement. Right? Write a personal mission statement. Write down what's most important to you. And what I learned during that time when I was in the nonprofit sector, what was most important to me was changing lives. I wanted to make an impact on people. I wanted to have an impact. I wanted to leave a mark. I wanted to take people from where they were to where it is that they wanted to be. So write a personal mission statement. Articulate your goals in that mission statement. That's what Mom Your Business is looking to do. One of the things that I'm about, and I learned that when I was at the Campaign for Working Families, was about alleviating poverty. Alleviating poverty. We wanted to be a part of what that looks like. I want to increase the access to capital for Black female entrepreneurs. That's a goal that we have, right? And then identify the legacy that you want to leave. Generational wealth. It's clear. It's plain. That's the legacy that we want to leave when we leave this planet. And so that brings me to my personal mission statement, changing lives through mentoring and entrepreneurship. That's my personal mission statement. And that's what drove me to create Mom Your Business, because we wanted to have an impact. And in less than 6 years, we've been able to help founders raise in excess of $250,000 in non-diluted capital. That's money they don't have to pay back. That's money that they've been able to put into their businesses to grow, right, and make a difference, right? And that's just been in the last 2 years. And so I feel like now we've come, for me, this has brought me full circle, because, I'm doing things that I never thought I'd be able to do. And because along that path, I've allowed people to inspire me. I'm not here if Shelley Bell doesn't ask me, where do you want to accelerate female entrepreneurs to? That's how we got Founders to Funders. I'm not here if she doesn't ask me that question. I'm not the general partner in an impact investment fund called Phirst Market Ventures if I don't read about Arlen Hamilton and believe that I can do what she does, right? And so allow people to be your inspiration as well, to help you to elevate those opportunities that may come your way. And I want to leave you with this. This is one of my favorite quotes from a good friend and mentor, Melinda Emerson. In business, there is no failure. Either you learn or you grow. In business, there is no failure. Either you learn or you grow. That's my time. Thank you.